What's up, everybody? It's Taylor Twellman from Major League Soccer and Apple TV. Matchday 16 had all the drama a league could have in one night. How about Vancouver showing up for their team? 51,000 plus fans, an MLS club record. But the players didn't. They lost to Inter Miami's B team. Now, Sporting Kansas City, trouble. They've lost their fifth in a row to a Portland Timbers team that is hot or cold, but they needed 3 points at home. Atlanta United, cold. They lost their fourth in a row at home, which is now a franchise record, winless in the last 9. And New York City is as hot as any team in the league. They've now won 7 of their last 8 games, but they did play the Revs. That's not what I'm talking about, though. And that's not what's caught my attention. So let's go. Twellman's Takes. I'm going to kick things off with a little bit of a fun game. This or that. You tell me in the comments which one was more entertaining. Let's start with this. North of the border. Toronto hosted FC Cincinnati, who were on a 6-game winning streak, and Toronto was not shy of the moment. They gave them everything and then some, including Lorenzo and Insigne. In the final 45 minutes and 9 minutes of extra time, the two teams exchanged punch after punch to a tune of 6 goals and 6 lead changes. You throw in the physicality, you throw in the 28,000 plus that was rowdy in attendance, and it felt like a playoff game. Now, Toronto, they were without Bernardeschi, who was a huge miss, who's been very good as of late. But this is more about Pat Noonan and FC Cincinnati. Since 2023, they have now won 23 of 27 games they've been in that have been decided by 1 goal. The next closest win total in that same span is 12. That's by Orlando City. Almost double the next best. And they did this Saturday night with only 1 assist from Acosta. Orjano, fantastic. And I actually think he could be better than his predecessor, Barriel, who was an all-star in this wing-back position for Noonan. Now, Kelly's arrival has made everything else fall into place. A target number 9 with his back-to-goal, good hold-up play, and he scores goals. So now FC Cincinnati set a club record with their 7th win in a row, and they're actually on pace to better their form from last year, where they won the Supporter Shield. Or is it this? Real Salt Lake hasn't lost since March 10th. That means 10 games unbeaten, and they shouldn't have any issue with FC Dallas, who've only won 3 games on the year. But as is an MLS, expect the unexpected, and Zach McMath gives FC Dallas 2 goals, and in the 60th minute, Real Salt Lake, you're down 3-0. But this is Pablo Mastroianni, and his teams just don't quit, especially to the final whistle, which is exactly what happens with this goal in the 98th minute to grab a point and keep their unbeaten streak at 11. I told you weeks ago that having Chicho Arango is now going to give this group an extra boost of confidence. And so for him not to contribute a goal and assist, and they still get goals, and they still come back, that is massive. But you also get the sense that Cincinnati and Miami are pulling away from them in the Supporter Shield race. These were 2 great games that could be up for Game of the Year when it's all said and done. No Messi, no Suarez, no Busquets, no party. Am I right? No, I'm not. 12-hour round trip to Vancouver. And guess what Tato Martino and his group leave with? 3 points. How many teams in MLS would love to have Robert Taylor and Leonardo Campana run their B team? Yes, I get it. They got Redondo back. He's into the fold. He played 25 plus minutes, which is massive for him and Martino. But the story is Robert Taylor. I joked last year during the Leagues Cup run with Messi that Robert Taylor looked like Angel Di Maria with his finishing and quality in the final third. But Saturday, there was no Messi, there was no Suarez, there was no Busquets, and it wasn't a problem. He scored an absolute banger that hits side netting. Then he skins the defender to provide Campana with the game winner. To think a couple years ago he was playing non-league football in England to now starring with Inter Miami and Messi to also representing his country just tells you anything is possible. And especially in MLS. And this may be the best roster in MLS history, but I am as interested in everyone. Summer's just around the corner. Copa America, Olympics means this team will be divided up until the end of August, which means the next 2 games at home are massive. Decimated Atlanta United, winless in their last 9. St. Louis City, lost 3 in a row. 6 points is a must for Messi and company. 3 weeks ago, the Columbus Crew lost for the first time to FC Cincinnati at home in their history, and to extend that winless streak to 7 games. And there was some concern that the prospect of the CONCACAF Champions Cup final would be a distraction. Could they find their form before the final? And can they get Diego Rossi going? Let me answer both of those questions for you with a resounding yes. They've now won 3 in a row, all 3 on the road, which is where they'll play the final against Pachuca. And Diego Rossi in the 3 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. No midweek game for them. They'll be rested and confident that they can play their style on the road the way they did versus Tigres and Monterrey. But there's a big but, and it is a massive one. No Cucho Hernandez. He's missed the last 3 games, which begs the question if he will even be available considering he wasn't on the bench versus Orlando. The back injury has to be real serious if Cucho is unavailable on June 1st in Mexico. And speaking of that final on June 1st in Mexico, we got you covered for that CONCACAF Champions Cup final preview on the latest episode of Offside, which you can get on Apple Podcasts. And I will be on the road in South Florida for the next 2 Inter Miami games. Atlanta United Wednesday night and St. Louis City Saturday night. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on MLS Countdown. Then 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff on MLS Season Pass on Apple TV.